by the Trump administration.
Directing the Justice Department to dismiss some of the lawsuits that predate her tenure. But the timing for this decision remains unclear. Greg?
Well, some California school districts are under investigation by the Trump administration for aiding in so-called gender transition of hundreds of students without parents knowing about it. Official records obtained by the Daily Caller Foundation show of the 158,000 students across 6 districts, 300 children were placed on, quote, gender support plans or had names or pronouns changed in school systems during the 2023-24 scholastic year. Many of them were also in special needs programs. The records were obtained through requests from the Interfaith Statewide Coalition, a group of parents and faith leaders defending parental rights by exposing secret gender changes happening behind parents' backs in California schools. A law signed by Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom in 2024 prohibiting schools from requiring teachers to notify parents when their child is identifying as transgender sparked an investigation by the Trump administration. The Daily Caller report says several districts declined to provide numbers or said that they do not keep track of gender support plans. Lawmakers in Texas are considering a parent-backed plan to require public libraries to keep sexually explicit materials away from kids. According to Texas Scorecard, House Bill 3225, of which a revised version was introduced on Monday, would require municipal public libraries to move sexually explicit content out of areas accessible only to minors and have verified that only adults check out the materials. Libraries in violation could face civil penalties of up to $10,000. They could also lose eligibility to receive taxpayer-funded grants from the Texas State Library and Archives Commission for a year. During a committee meeting, one of the parents said this, quote, "This is not about book banning or book burning. This is about book boundaries. Minors need boundaries to protect their minds from content they are not mature enough to process." Joining us now is a former FBI senior advisor, author of Living Fearlessly for Christ, Hedieh Mirahmadi. Falco, welcome back to Victory News.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
All right, let's listen to a lady named Bonnie Wallace. She's an advocate for safe libraries for children. She tries to present on highly sexualized books in the Brownsville, Texas school district that they're allowing to be in the libraries. Well, here she is.
So if you can follow the rules, because we do have people after you.
I've got about 17 seconds left, so I'm going to keep going.
As long as it's not vulgar. Yes, ma'am.
I can't help it. If you don't like vulgarity, stop buying it for the children.
Well, there we go. So now Texas is considering a bill to put a stop to these type of books in libraries for children. The left says this is book banning and censorship. What do you think?
You know, it's really important that we keep up this fight. We're actually going through it in our California school district, and it's bleeding over into the public libraries as well, is that we have to keep the pressure on the left's attempt to overly sexualize our children. So whether it's books in schools or, you know, hiding their transition from the parents or overly glorifying homosexuality, there's this onslaught of this spiritual depravity and moral depravity that they're trying to impose on our children, and we have to stand against it. And what I love about Bonnie Wallace is she's one parent saying, I have the power to make this change. I will stand up for the rights of my children and continue to fight for it. And she's built momentum. I looked her up a little bit. She's got a lawsuit going as well. So she's just taken the power that she's been given as a citizen to fight against this movement.
And that's something that what one person can do, one little spark can start it. So Joe Biden, we haven't heard from him for a while, returned to the stage last night in his first speech since leaving the Oval Office. Here's a little of it. It didn't go so well as he spoke over loud music and seemed unaware of it for several seconds. Several Democrats expressed displeasure with him returning to the political stage. Is this really what the Democratic Party needs right now as their popularity continues to decline in every poll in America?
I don't think it is what the American public needs at all. I think he's coming out to defend the fact that these books have been written about him, about his cognitive decline, and he wanted to prove to people he could still stand on a stage. But what the Democrat Party really needs is somebody that has common sense and has the ability to stand up and represent the middle class of America and get off of these ridiculous woke concepts that America has rejected.
Yeah, exactly. And it's good to see that he can still be out there and speak to people. Hedieh, the video we're playing, this is difficult to watch. But I want you to address it because I believe you can as a former Muslim. The husband in the video is threatening and striking his wife in front of their children and other people as they try to intercede for her. Is this an acceptable practice under Sharia? And how, if so, how is this compatible with American values?
Unfortunately, there are conservative interpretations of Sharia that allows a man, based on the Quran, that they could beat their wives. And unfortunately, this is the result of it. And we have to do a better job at integrating Muslims into mainstream society. And that means making sure that they understand what it means to be an American and that they share American values. And by allowing them to isolate and separate, like we see happening all over the country, building these Muslim-only cities, further exacerbates this problem. So I think it's really important that we work on integration and making sure that people realize what it means to be an American. And this kind of interpretation of Sharia law is absolutely unacceptable. And we need a law enforcement to enforce that.
I'm glad you answered that. That's why I was going to interrupt and ask how we can do that. But that's the way you do it. It's a melting pot. And if you don't melt into American culture, you're in trouble. You can learn more about Hedieh and her book, Living Fearlessly in Christ, and more by visiting resurrectministry.com or on X at Hedieh Falco. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mike.
Greg, some news was made at the Pentagon on Tuesday, and not the kind you would expect. First, it was